Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to kind of be like an everything show to get caught up on all this miscellaneous stuff that's been going on in the news lately. And thanks for tuning in to yesterday's show. It was an old documentary that we did going back to 2020, actually, 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And we were warning about Skynet drones. We specifically talked about drones becoming part of the enforcement arm of our world order. We warned about it. And now, of course, 2025 will be the year of the drones. We're seeing drone stories everywhere now, just as we said it would happen 4 or 5 years ago. And Skynet, it will become self-aware, has come online with more and more police departments using drones, robo-dogs, night drones. Now, this isn't to fear you. It's to show you that all of these things were already talked about, okay? So we're prepared, aren't we? Now, I want to start off today's show with a 5-minute clip from a decode that we did on Terminator Genesis. And then we'll get into some other topics and headlines today. It's all about what's happening right now with the 5G drone surveillance state. And of course, Trump's involvement in it that the right is trying to distance him from, but it's impossible because he was the one who passed the executive order for drones to fly at night. So it has to be connected. And of course, many people in his cabinet are connected to drone surveillance, Palantir, Musk, and even, his son, Trump Jr., who is now on the board of the now drone company for America. Basically, they're going to redo all the drones, and we won't be getting any more drones from China. They'll all be made here in America. So this is what we're up against. This is what's happening. And fortunately, we've been prepared. If you've been coming to this channel, you know that all of this was spoken about. But let's get into this clip, and this is important. Let's take a look here. Since Lincoln, this rush to electrify the world, the electric kingdom, and they use the right-left paradigm to pretend as though we are competing against these other countries for superiority, and through our own ego, we believe that they are correct and justified in this race, in this competition. Do you see how all of this comes out of greed? All of it comes out of fear, insecurity. Whereas if we just had faith in the Most High, then things wouldn't be so crazy. Look at the Amish, you guys. They have rejected the electric kingdom. Why do you think that is? Because they know the agenda. They know it. Now, if you don't believe me, watch this next scene, because Arnold basically is Thump in this next scene. Watch. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come? And there you see he's 6 foot 6 inches tall. That's Thump's number, 66. Thump was born on the 166th day of the year in leap years, which was the year he was elected, was a leap year. So in the year that he was elected, he was born on the 166th day of the year. And now you understand the connection to his 66th floor penthouse, because he already knew he would be elected president in 2016 in a leap year. He already knew that. How? Because he has a time machine too. Remember in this movie Genesis, it was Arnold / Thump who builds the simpler version of the time machine to travel to 2017 to kill Skynet, remember? Well, I believe we figured it out. Reading between the lines, looking at the symbolism. Bad boys, what you gonna do? So there it is. This is why it's so important. Now you understand the Tesla aspect to all this. John Thump, now you get it. They were working on a machine, a rudimentary time machine, to commune with these spirits, to be possessed by them, and to try to break through the firmament. And there it is right there, his birthday, the 166th day of the year. Now you know why he's on the 66th floor penthouse. He knew he'd be elected in the leap year. Now, I wish I was making all this up, but I truly believe that the revelations on this channel are an inspiration of the Holy Spirit. You can choose whether or not to believe them. You can pray to God that he reveals the truth to you, to ask him if Casey's correct. So I'll put a link to this old video talking about the 166th day of the year being Trump's birthday in the leap year and him being elected president, and knowing that far, far in advance when Trump Tower was built in 1983. Pretty accurate to what's happening right now, isn't it? Pretty accurate. Now, as I promised you guys, I'm going to follow up on this mystery portal, or this mystery sigil that was actually discovered, that we discovered the other day at the Vatican. This mystery sigil and the opening of these portals. Because a few of you actually found the modern symbol that we saw in this portal. Here it is right here. Circa Survive is the name of this particular band, this group. And they wield this symbol that we covered on the Vatican. So what we did, let me back up here because some of you might be confused. Everybody knows that the pathway of the doors that are being opened at the Vatican formed the sigil of Satan, or the sigil of Lucifer. Well, we looked back in the previous time that these portal doors were opened. We went back to the year 2000 because the same thing happened. They opened these portal doors, except it was in a little bit different order. And when we mapped that out, it formed this symbol, the Circa Survive symbol. This band here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. Let's see here. Make this bigger so you guys can see this. There's the symbol there, as you can see next to the word circa. Okay. So it's the same symbol, right? Obviously, this is the modern version of it, though. So there's an ancient version as well. And that's what we were trying to figure out what this was all about. You know, what did the actual original symbol mean? So I dug into this Circa Survive group, and they use the sigil to represent what they say is safe camping. So like if you're homeless or whatever, and you see this symbol, they say it's for safe camping. Now, obviously it has to mean something else, but let's figure out what this is all about. Now, the band is described as an indie rock band. And so I dug into the band to see if I could find anything. Well, they've got some pretty interesting music titles. Let me go over some of them. Blue Sky Noise. That almost to me sounds like Blue Beam. There's also a song called Decensus. So of course, census means to count the people, right? So decensus must mean depopulation. There's also a song or an album called Meet Me in Montauk. And of course, we all know the story behind Montauk. And this band was signed with Sumerian Records. Now, all of that doesn't mean a whole lot because a lot of these indie rock bands are into this occult stuff, right? But then I took a look at some of their album covers, and this is where I was blown away. Now, I can't say definitively there's a link between the Catholic Church and this whole opening of the portals and the shape of it mapped out in Google Earth and this band. But what you're going to see next is simply shocking. This is all of their band covers, and it's straight up creepy. You've got Russian dolls. Let's see if I can take a look at this. Let's just make this bigger and we could scroll around here. So these are this band here, as you can see, there's the symbol there, the shape of the Catholic Church. There are children on their album covers. Here are the Russian dolls. There are red balloons and serpents. Helium. Remember I told you, remember we did a deep dive on helium and we realized that it was the spirits of children. Remember? That's what it represented to these people. It was a sacrificial gas. Remember? And then we said methane and helium mine together. This is why the It Clown says you'll float too. It's something about these gases, right? Well, now you see everything that we covered in album covers of a band that we hadn't heard of before until yesterday, when someone told me, you need to go check out Circa Survive's symbol. It matches the Vatican symbol that you found. And here we find all of this occult imagery, stuff that we've already talked about. Russian dolls, methane gas, children, sacrifice. Now, there's more. Look at this. There's like a falling child that you could see the hair. And then, if you had any questions, this cover actually shows a child's head being engulfed in flames and literally the burning. So this is the sacrifice, right? See how the child's in pink? That's the adrenochrome. And they burn it to their god, Lucifer, and it goes up into the sky. Okay? So Lucifer's trying to be like the Most High. So Most High in the Old Testament, it would be an animal sacrifice for sins. Well, Lucifer requires human sacrifice. So it goes up, it fills up the pink adrenochrome balloon. You can't make this up, you guys. No stretching necessary. And here's some kind of demonic figure with the lights as eyes. So now we know the truth. This symbol is not a good symbol. Someone tried to come on here the other day. I said, Casey, I don't believe that this symbol is bad. I think that, the Vatican Church, they did this on purpose because this is a holy symbol. And I said, no. Now, how do I know this? Excuse me. Just got a frog in my throat. How do I know this? Because they did it secretly. It's all about the occult. Now, had they announced all this and gave us an explanation as to why this was a holy symbol, then we might think differently about it. But it was done undercover. They never thought that someone would map out the route of these doors. And yet here we are, right? Unreal. Let me check in with you guys. All of the occult symbolism we've been covering for the last 10 years appears in one set of album covers simply by finding the occult symbol that was linked to the Vatican. So this isn't about a safe place to camp. That's not what the symbol means. It has a more ancient meaning. And I challenge you guys to dig further to try to find that symbol. And it's got to be a hieroglyph or something like that, right? It's got to be something like that. Now let's get into some other parts of the show. I'm back on the other computer. The other one started blue screening again, so I'm back on the other computer. So we've lost our zoom in the screen function. Well, that's okay. We're working with what we got. I'm not going to complain about it. At least we get to get on here with you guys. But it's touch and go these days with computers. I think I'm under some kind of electronic attack. And I just probably Max says I need to get a tower computer. He's like, Dad, let's just get you a stand-up tower computer. I'm like, well, he's like, I can build you one for like $400. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's what I need to do next, because all this madness that we've been going through with these computers is just unbelievable, right? But anyway, let's hop on to some other stuff, and I will get you guys links to all this if you want to dig further. But this is the world we live in now. Now, what else is going on? Well, science is developing lethal artificial life forms called mirror bacteria. Mirror bacteria. And this is insane. They say that these mirror bacteria could wipe us all out. Wow, joy. Let's read a little bit of this. The idea of a deadly artificial bacteria taking over the human body might sound like something from the next season of The Last of Us, but a Nobel Prize winning biologist has now warned that it could become a reality amid a rising interest in deadly mirror bacteria, type of fully synthetic life form, in which all the biological molecules are replaced with mirrored alternatives. So now you see all this stuff we've been talking about, mirrors and twinning, it's all starting to come to fruition, isn't it? Remember the double numbers, 66, 55, 22, 33, those are mirror numbers. And this is what this is all leading to, okay? Now, why are they developing this stuff if they know that it could replicate out of control and kill a bunch of people? Well, this is what the end times are going to be like, you guys. This is what it's going to be like. So I'll put a link to the story. I don't want to spend too much time on this story, but they're talking about these mirror bacteria, synthetic life form, almost to me sounds like programmable matter, right? Now, let's get an update on Luigi Mangione. And I put together this graphic for you guys so you guys can see what's really going on in our reality. And it's these things that we accept as normal that will be our downfall. This will be the downfall of humanity. Accepting things as normal. Why? Because on some level, we're comfortable with the way things are, aren't we? They give us our entertainment. They give us our sports. They give us our holidays. And on some level, we are comfortable. But then you look and you see that these things that we accept as normal are not normal. And we just let it happen. We don't ask questions, or we call each other crazy when someone does ask a question. So take a look at your screen here, and we're going to go into the chat, do a little interactive decoding here. It's not that complicated, but you tell me what it is on the screen that doesn't make any sense. On the left, there's Luigi. On the right, Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. What's wrong with this picture? Okay, let me go back into the chat now that you guys have had a good look at this. And it's pretty simple. It's not that complicated. What is wrong with the picture, in your opinion? Let's let this chat catch up. Because remember, Luigi supposedly killed somebody in cold blood and he's catching terror charges, right? Maxwell, all she did was sex trafficking. So which one okay, I don't want to give it away because one of you just knows what you're looking at. There you go. Robert got it. Why are we looking at drawings of a person who supposedly did far less than a murderer, but yet the murderer comes out and we get all this nonsense? Look at this. It's like a photo shoot. Photos, 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 pictures, pictures, pictures. Him in his orange jumpsuit. Now, some people, like myself, couldn't wait to see Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein in an orange jumpsuit. But we never got that, did we? Why? Because they never showed it to us. And then they call us crazy when we say, oh, maybe they're not really in jail. Well, show us the person in the orange jumpsuit. Why can you show a murderer in an orange jumpsuit, but you can't show us her in a jumpsuit? Which leads people to believe, again, things we accept as normal that aren't normal at all. Wouldn't the same rules apply to, the Ghislaine Maxwell case in terms of not being able to show inside the courtroom for this guy, or not being able to show them when they got picked up, put in an orange jumpsuit? This makes absolutely no sense to me. And we need to begin to question these things, right? So, now, one of you found something really interesting. And I'll be back in the chat in a minute. Peter, we've been talking a lot about Peter Thiel, haven't we? This guy has now surfaced as the linchpin in our electronic future. Palantir is his product, which is full surveillance state. Now, for now, they're using it on the battlefield. But pretty soon, this will be coming to America. And one of you found this. Now, Teal has revealed himself, hasn't he? How? Well, he's now tweeting back and forth with Elon Musk. We're now finding out that he had ties to Vance. Vance worked for him. We're now finding out that all kinds of people worked for Peter Thiel. There's another guy connected to Trump from the other day that we looked into that's also connected to Peter Thiel. He's the guy that allowed for nighttime drone surveillance. That guy that was connected to Peter Thiel and now connected to Trump and was connected to Trump in 2017 to allow nighttime drone surveillance. I don't know how many times I have to say this, you guys. Oh, Casey's not even president yet. It's Biden. It's Biden. Come on, you guys. Come on. We deserve what we're going to get. If a person cannot see something very simple, like an executive order from 2017 about nighttime drone surveillance, and still make excuses for Trump, and see all the connections to Peter Thiel and this whole domestic drone issue. Okay, I'll leave that alone. Now, what did one of you find? Well, one of you plugged Peter Thiel's name into an anagram. Now, and for those of you that don't know, an anagram is where you take a word and you scramble the letters. You don't add letters. You don't take letters away. You simply scramble the letters. Peter Thiel's name is the reptile when it's scrambled. Literally the serpent, the snake that he let in. Wow. Now, let's get into some other stories today. Welcome to the Needle Nation. Now we've got some new parts to our show. We have the Ozempic Olympics, so we'll be giving you guys updates on dramatic celebrity changes after they get their Ozempic injection. But another part of this is the Needle Nation. This is it right here. A new needle called Zette can help you now with sleep apnea. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Let's read this. Another injection. Needle Nation announced. Eli Lilly announced today that its blockbuster weight loss drug Zepbound was approved as the first prescription drug to help alleviate moderate to severe sleep apnea with adults with obesity. Wow, nearly half of the clinical patients saw such improvements. They no longer had symptoms associated with sleep apnea. So, Needle Nation, they're just getting people used to just jabbing yourself all the time, because it goes right into the bloodstream. You don't get a first pass effect of the gastrointestinal tract, and this is what they want to do. Now, I have a playlist on here. I forgot to pull it up, but I have a playlist for you guys on the Needle Nation, because what we did, I think I actually titled the playlist Needle Nation, and I'll put a link to the playlist in the pinned comment, is we went up into the sky, Google Earth, and we found literal outlines of hypodermic needles overlapping the landscape in major cities around the world. Central Park is one such hypodermic needle, as well as Paris around the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower becomes the tip of the needle. And in Central Park, the One World Trade Freedom Tower becomes the tip of the needle. And where else did we find a needle? Because the enemy's obsessed with needles. The National Mall, the Washington Monument becomes the tip of the needle. And I literally just drew an outline around these areas, and you could literally see the outline of a needle. Now, if I only found one of these, I would say, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just seeing something that's not there. But when you go around and you see this outline of this needle, and you see a prominent monument becoming the tip of the needle, a building or the Eiffel Tower or, the National Monument, then Washington Monument, then you begin to scratch your head. You begin to go, these people have an obsession with needles. What's it about? Well, this is the enemy's phallic figure. This is how he changes the seed of the woman, right? Because he can't reproduce. He can only copy and clone. He cannot reproduce naturally. So the only way to do it is to inject a needle, injecting the venom. And this is what he's done. So therefore, this basic shape of the obelisk That's what it really represents. I know there's all kinds of other theories about it, but when we boil it all down, the obelisk really represents the enemy's phallic image and how he makes war on the seed of the woman. Okay. He bruises Jesus in the heel, the seed of the woman, through his heel. That's how Jesus was crucified. Okay. This is why you get a heel prick test at birth. It's not because they're so concerned about, a 0.00.325 chance that you're going to get some strange disease. That's not what it's about. It's the war on the seed of the woman, and it always has been. Now, what else is going on? Well, the sky is falling, literally. Many of you have heard this report. This is breaking news. Apparently now, a boy was killed by an attack drone. I mean, a holiday drone fell right out of the sky. And it's important to understand the programming here. This was in Florida. This just happened like last night. The programming here is killer drones that will be blamed on accidents. You guys, the very nature of a drone being operated remotely, remember the executive order by Trump. He literally said in the executive order, now why would a president pass an executive order like that in the 11th hour of his presidency? Well, actually it was in 2017. And then why would he pass something like this? To allow a drone to fly out of sight and to be operated remotely. That was the specifics of the language. It's because they knew something was coming. Why would you allow for that? And the excuse that was given in that executive order was that, now we can send life-saving, medicines and things to people in emergency situations. Yet none of that was brought to bear in a situation that would have justified some of this maybe. And that was Asheville. There were no, drones flying food into people. Were there? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they fly drones? Casey, that's because Biden was president. Give me a break. Give me a break. That it was a cover story. It wasn't because they want to send life-saving things into drones, into people, because otherwise FEMA would have set that up under the Trump presidency. It was all for us. We are the target. This is policing, and it's happening. Now, it's well known that drones can be hacked, okay? It's well known that people that are on Skylink can be hacked. All you got to do is search it up, and look up the privacy concerns. Just Google privacy concerns for Skylink. And they will tell you, because it travels through the air, there are privacy concerns. It is much less secure than fiber optic, which is underground and buried, right? Well, what makes us think these drones are going to be any different? And what if Musk, this whole Skylink thing and all these, satellites up there is to control the drone swarm? You guys, these people have shown their hand. Let me say that again. What if all of these satellites that Musk is putting up in the sky is ultimately to control and provide a network for these drone swarms to operate? And the brain of this thing becomes the beast of it. And it becomes these central processing computers, these quantum computers that can run all these drones all around the world through Skylink all at the same time. And guess what? At that point, they could claim peace and security, because every move you make, you don't even have to step outside of your house, you guys, because if there's a drone in proximity to your house, they can use heat signature. They can look right through the walls. You do anything wrong, the algorithm picks it up and the officer shows up to your door. Peace and security. Well, fortunately, we know that the end will come when they make that claim. So we won't have to wait long after that. But this is where it's all headed. So this was a drone accident. This was in Florida. Let's see. Let's see. The boy almost died. He's in heart surgery right now. Let's see if this plays here.
One mother tells us she was here sitting with her family on this brick wall during the drone show when she says a drone came falling from the sky and the unimaginable happened. She says it hit her son.
Everyone's natural instinct was to like duck and scatter. And right when we knew it, like my daughter found my son on the floor, unconscious, blood coming out his face.
Adriana Edgerton says her 7-year-old son, Alexander, has been in the hospital ever since.
Like it ended in...
Unbelievable. Attending a holiday show. Now, one day people will wake up and realize this thing about holidays. Look, I'm not going to come on here and lecture you guys about all this, but the Bible says my people perish because of lack of knowledge. When you're involved in this stuff like this can happen. Okay. You're not protected spiritually if you're into this stuff. A lot of you asked me if I was going to do a Saturnalia show. Well, we did Saturnalia shows for 10 years and it really hasn't made a difference. So people are going to do what they're going to do. I'm not on here to judge you or lecture you, but I can tell you this. Her son would be okay if she wasn't at this holiday show, wouldn't he? Unbelievable. So he's in there for heart surgery, hasn't even got his life started, and he's already got to deal with this from these drones. Now, I don't know if this particular drone got hacked, but we know that this can happen. Okay. Drones can get hacked very easily, or at least they could blame it on that, couldn't they? Outside entities getting into these drones. And this is programming to get us all used to, oh, just a drone fell out of the sky. That's what happened. Oh, this guy was about to be a whistleblower and the drone just fell out of the sky and hit him. You guys, it's already happening in the Ukraine. They're using drones to attack people. What makes us think that's not going to happen here at some point? Or isn't already happening now? You know, for years we were covering these gas explosions. Remember these? We would keep a close eye on these quote unquote gas explosions, right? And I would always tell you guys, that's not a gas explosion. Gas explosions don't do that to houses. You guys might remember a particular drone explosion that I showed you guys, gas explosion, of a house that was completely obliterated. And they said it happened from a single propane tank. You know how hard it is to get a propane tank to ignite, let alone completely level an entire 4,000 square foot house? Do you know how impossible that is? So in other words, we now have domestic drone strikes. It's already happening, whether or not we want to believe it or not. Now, there's more stuff popping off. I've got some video footage for you of what they're calling a fireball. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I went for the first 30 years of my life till I was literally 30 years old without ever hearing about a single fireball falling out of the sky. Yes, we had falling stars. I remember that. But fireballs seems to be a new phenomenon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you guys remember back to the year 2000 and before? Do you ever remember fireballs falling out of the sky? I don't. I mean, unless I'm in some kind of time warp or Mandela effect. But I'm going to show you this footage here. And they're, of course, blaming it on China. Because remember, the right-left paradigm. Oh, let's blame China for everything. Let's play this video here. Look at this. They're calling it a Chinese satellite. That looks like, you guys, this looks like from a movie or something. Right? Gosh, that is chilling. It looks like an alien invasion or something. What was that movie? War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. This is exactly what it looked like. All these fireballs coming out of the sky. They hit the ground and these aliens popped up and people ran for their lives. But this is what we're told. We're told this is what we have to accept. What you're seeing this is it. It's Chinese satellite. That's all. Nothing to see here. The things that we accept as real will become the downfall of humanity, unfortunately. Oh, no big deal, Casey. Nighttime drones flying around, unidentified. No big deal. Not Trump's fault. That's all Biden. And it's just they're looking for orbs. That's what they're doing. Nothing to see here. Has nothing to do with the surveillance state or us getting, accepting just nighttime drones flying around. Has nothing to do with that at all. Things that we accept as normal will be the downfall of humanity. Okay, I'm back in the chat, you guys. Good morning. Wow. How is everybody? What a creepy band, right? Oh, because that's normal too. Oh yeah, we just got children incinerated into methane gas and powering a pink adrenochrome balloon. Nothing to see there. Wow. Okay. Yeah, just like the lockdowns were all normal. Thank you, Shajuna. You get it. You're awake. Things people accept as normal. Think about this for a minute. Okay. Oh, we've got all these mortal enemies, China and Russia and all this, right? And yet, we're going to have a climate agenda. We're going to weaken our country by forcing everyone into electric tanks and electric, military vehicles and electric Humvees. Are we really believing this as normal? Let's weaken America by forcing everyone into electric. Of course not. Of course they're not going to do that. But you got to wake up to this stuff and see that everything they tell us is a lie. Now we've got the 13 billionaire families running America, or will be, on inauguration day. And that's where all this is headed. But everyone will accept it as normal. You guys, we literally will have an oligarchy. Everyone, teased Russia and criticized Russia because they're run by these wealthy billionaires, right? But then here we are, and it's nothing to see here because it's Trump. But we trust Trump. Trustworthy Trump. Maybe that's why his name was Trump, because he wants to be trustworthy. Everybody trusts him. Hands down. Just do whatever you want. We trust you. You're successful. You didn't get rich by being dumb, so you must be the best person to run our country. You and all your billionaire friends. And I always tell you this, until America can pay a living wage, then I will never believe America is great again. There was a time in history, the 1950s and 60s, where a person could go work at a factory and make enough money to have a stay-at-home wife and a car in the driveway, and their kids go to school and own a house. And those days are gone. You could literally work yourself to death 40, 60, 100 hours a week and still be poor. That's the world we live in now. And until that changes, which of course solely falls on the fault of the rich billionaires who are greedy, who want more and more and more, even though they've already got more money than they'll ever spend in their entire life 10 times over. And they can't kick a little bit of it back to pay a fair wage to people who work. I don't care where you work. You work at McDonald's and you put in 40 hours a week. You should have a clean, safe place to live. It might not be huge. You should have a car that runs and not worry about, next time my car breaks, I'm going to go in debt for a year. You shouldn't have to worry about these things if we're supposedly in the greatest country in America. Oh, well, Casey, you need to just go get an education and improve your life then. That's the beauty of America. No. Are we trying to say that some work is actually better than others? Is that the claim people are making? So now we're looking down on people that work at McDonald's? Now we're looking down on people that clean houses? No, we should not. It's all work. According to the Bible anyway, if you believe the Bible says that all work is good work. No work is any better than others. Right? So, if we truly believe what the Bible says, then a person should make a daily wage that allows for a standard of living that is fair. Not struggling to survive. Fair. So, all right. What else is going on, you guys? Yes, there's even honor in collecting cans. I wouldn't want to do that. But guess what? There are people that do that, and they're good at it. So, yeah, I'm not saying there aren't orbs. What I'm saying is they flip that story out there to take people off of the what's really happening. And what's really happening is we just accepted nighttime drone surveillance. That was never a thing before until 3 weeks ago. We just accepted that as normal now. It's the new normal. Yeah. And why do we live in a country where cars cost $80,000? That's not normal. Now, I know those are luxury trucks and things, but yeah. I think the drone thing is true or psyop. No, it's real. People are seeing it. Cannons, yeah, it's real. It's happening. But the question is, it's everything else. People are like, oh, they're looking for orbs. It's UFOs. We're being attacked. And you notice I put UFO in the title. For some reason, YouTube loves UFO videos. And I've seen people that all they did was put UFO in the title and their video goes viral. So guess what? We're going to try that too. And of course, much more of you tuned in today because UFO was in the title. I'm not saying you guys are addicted to UFO stuff. I'm saying that YouTube algorithms reward people that talk about it, which is just insane to me. So they're preparing us for something, aren't they? They are preparing us for something. Okay. Great question, Cannons. Yeah, they're real. It's happening. It's all over the United States. That's the crazy part. They literally did a psyop on all of us over the whole US. Trump will triumph. Got to give him a chance. Wow. It's like some people just I don't know if they're not paying attention to what I'm saying or they're just in denial. And I say that with all the love in my heart. I don't know how you can see what we're presenting and still say that. It just doesn't it makes absolutely no sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense. But okay. All right. Utilize fear operation UFO. Yeah, that's a good one. Action Vista. Geraldine saw a saucer up close in the 70s. Wow. Yeah, I think the 13 billionaire families are probably going to help America. Because they care about us. They don't want to replace us with robots and artificial intelligence. You guys, what are we going to do when there's no work to be done and robots do everything? Oh, you don't have to do anything. You just have to stay at home. Brian says, I will come back and say, well, all I can say is, gosh, we got to be careful how we talk about this. Look around at all the people that you love that had heart attacks, blood clots, strokes, and you tell me that that was normal, perfectly healthy people. Yep, 13 billionaire screams oligarchy. Yes. Nothing good can come out of that because those people are going to make the leadership, they're going to reshape America into a way they can get even richer. It's a complete conflict of interest. Okay, here's what the rules should be for President of the United States. If I could remake our Constitution, I would say President of the United States cannot be a millionaire and cannot bet in the stock market. Yes, we'll give you a pension for life because you made it to, the presidency. Well, you'll get a pension just like any, state or federal worker. But you're not allowed to work in the stock market. Why? Because it's a conflict of interest. Because you're going to shape legislation to fit your needs so that you can have insider trading, insider knowledge of things that are about to pass, and you're going to bet on that, and you're going to make more and more millions and billions. So that should not be allowed. You should not be allowed to be a rich person to run the country. You could be a successful business person, and maybe you've made, you should be like the rest of us. You have to work and get by. If you stop working, you don't make money, right? It should be a representation of the American people, most working class citizens, not someone who has familial wealth passed down generation to generation. I would make that a rule too. You can't be someone who's inherited more than $1 million in wealth. There should be a cap, a ceiling for a true leader. And if you think I'm full of it, look at Jesus, the leader of all leaders. He was a working man. He was a carpenter. And even though he inherited the infinite power of the Creator, he never used it. Again, you have to go back to the Bible and look at the example we were given when thinking about a leader. Now, of course, I don't believe in any leaders, but if I did, those would be the requirements. Not billionaires. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. So, now, you're going to laugh. So I saw someone mention Gates. It'll be a matter of time, mark my words, before Bill Gates reemerges. It'll be kumbaya, and he'll talk to Trump, and all of a sudden, Bill Gates will be in the scene. Watch. Mark my words. Oh, Casey, that could never happen. Trump hates Bill Gates. Yeah, that's why he was a tenant at Trump World Tower in the early 2000s. He hates him. You watch. Bill Gates will reemerge, and him and Trump will sing kumbaya, and Trump will give us some line. You know what it'll probably center around is this nuclear power plant that Bill Gates is working on. So that'll somehow link into Trump. Trump will show up to like the power plant. He'll do like a ribbon cutting with Bill Gates. We'll see him shaking hands. And people say, oh, that's just because he's keeping his enemies closer. This is what we'll hear because people are so brainwashed. So we'll see if that happens. And if it does happen, someone help me remember so I can put it in a show. Wow. All right, you guys. I guess we'll pop off of here. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for showing up. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.